Hello, Miss Baggerly's class. This is Miss Dykes, her friend from California. Today I will be reading to you Circumference and the Fraction Faire, a math adventure. Fine fabrics, fresh cheese, bah, bah. It was the opening morning of the Fraction Fair. Such a merry atmosphere, said Lady Di of Ameter. She and Circumference strolled jauntily through the crowds with their friend Reginald Patron, the Earl of Fraction. The two men stopped to watch a sword swallower while Lady Di wandered over to a clothes merchant's booth. She ran her hand over a length of fabric. How perfectly soft, she exclaimed. The merchant smiled. You can buy all or part, she said, pointing to the sign above her. What do those numbers mean? Lady Di asked. They're fraction numbers, my lady, the woman answered. They are used to measure equal pieces of something, such as this beautiful cloth. Why is one number below the other? Asked Lady Di. The bottom number is called the denominator, the seller explained. It shows how many parts are in a whole. She drew lines on the material with a soap silver, dividing the fabric into equal sections. 4 in all? Asked Lady Di. Yes, my lady, asked the woman. That's what the bottom numbers mean, she said, pointing to the sign again. And what? And if I want just one part of the 4, asked Lady Di. The numerator, or top number, tells me how many parts of the cloth you want. In this case, it would be 1, said the woman. Lady Di printed the fraction number 1/4 on the first section of the cloth. Indeed, that's 1/4, replied the merchant, and 2 parts of the fourth would be 2/4. 3 parts of the fourth are 3/4, and the entire length is 4/4, or 1 whole. Lady Di smiled. I'm partial to the red fabric. Have you any? The merchant nodded and bent down. Odd, my red material seems to be missing. I'm so sorry, my lady. She excused herself and hurried away to check with the neighboring cloth sellers. At this point, Circumference and the Earl approached, each hungry enough to eat half a horse. Soft curds here, bellowed a portly cheesemonger. Wheels of cheese, parts or whole. I'll take 1/2 of that Wensdale wheel, said the Earl. I'd like 2/4 of that Cheshire wheel, said Lady Di. She thought of her lesson on numerators. 2 pieces means she could save one for later. I'm hungry, so I'll have this much of Stilton, said Circumference, pointing to the 4/8 on the sign. He thought the bigger numbers meant more cheese, but when the portions were cut out, they were the same amount. They're equivalent, explained the cheesemonger. The Stilton is cut into smaller pieces, so there are more of them. Here, I'll cut the cheddar wheel, and you'll see. Wait a tick, where is it? Missing cheese. Lady Di remembered the missing red cloth. Was it just a coincidence? Tucked away from the hubbub, 6 men were divvying up a round of tangy cheddar and looking over a pile of other stolen goods from the fair. Well done, lads, bad old Barnaby said to his brigand band. We've pinched some right proper stuff we have. Spread out beside them were meats, bread, ales, yarn, fabrics, purses, coins, and 4 fluffy sheep. The cloth was the easiest pickings I ever did pilfer, chortled one of Barnaby's men. By now, almost everyone at the fair was missing something. People surrounded the Earl, all talking at once. The Earl's sheep shearer pushed forward. My lord, he exclaimed, 1/3 of your finest sheep are missing. We had a dozen to clip, but 4 are gone. Thieves, growled the Earl. They desire easy gain. Let's think like a thief so we can catch the culprit. A plan was quickly hatched. It was a long shot, but it might work. Our puppeteers will set the trap, the Earl said, and fraction numbers will do 9/10 of the work. At high noon, the performance began. It featured Fraction's favorite 2 puppets, the diminutive half-pint and the sizable Portal. Ah, Portal, a huge gold coin. Let's fly up there and grab it. Such a half-baked idea, it's no surprise coming from a half-wit like you. The audience roared with laughter. Perhaps a kind member of our audience could grab the coin for us. On the whole, not a half-bad idea, unless he or she is partly tempted to keep it. You got that right, Barnaby snickered, poking one of his mates in the ribs. The brigand band had returned to enjoy the performance. I've got a half-made idea. Who gave the coin to the person who finds the largest fraction number? Slips like this one are half hidden about the fair. Bring your findings here by 2:30. Our 1/6 sense tells us we'll have a winner. The audience sprang into action. A gold sovereign was enough money to buy a small farm. The thieves want the coin, the Earl said to Cumference and Lady Di. We had no stealing before the fair began, so we think the thief is an outsider to Fraction. And you wager that an outsider would think a number like 1/16 is bigger than something like 1/3 because the denominator is larger, said Lady Di. I made that mistake myself, admitted Cumference. Now I realize the larger diameter, the smaller each part is. The higher the numerator, more parts there are. People were having fun searching. Fraction numbers were discovered in unusual places. A small girl noticed a 7/9 between two slices of bread. This could be the winning number, she said excitedly. Barnaby and his band kept their eyes peeled for fraction numbers. They observed a woman unwrapping a 1/2 from a wood wax jar, but they dismissed it. Too small, Barnaby told his men. A young boy and his father spotted a 1/12 slip. Such a tiny fraction number, moaned the boy. Leave it, son, the father said. No one would be stupid enough to want that. They left it on a lunch table, where Barnaby took it. Ho, ho, lads, he chuckled. We're in luck now, we are. Big numbers. This must be the winning ticket. The bell tower rang at 2:30. Would everyone with his slip step forward, the Earl asked the crowd, and please line up by size number. I'm here in the middle, said the woman with 1/2. Mine's a bit larger than 1/2, said the boy with 5/8. This one is larger still, I think, said the girl with 7/9. The slip holders jostled about, but finally everyone was in order, with Barnaby proudly standing on one end with 1/32 and sweet little Madam Elizabeth Hopbrain on the other with 1/1. The gentleman with 1/32, called the puppet master as the holder of the smallest fraction number. You may award the gold coin to the winner who holds our 1/2 slip. No, screeched Barnaby, my number is bigger. The coin is mine. He ran towards the gold sovereign. The Earl blocked him. Defeated, Barnaby and his brigand band turned and fled. They were too fast, the Earl said, returning to the puppet, thereafter a fruitless chase, but we found the stolen goods. Those half-dozen ruffians were a whole heap of trouble, said Cumference, but they fell to pieces in the end, exclaimed the Earl happily. The village of Fractions and its Earl continued to be famous for sheep, the fair, and the unique way they wrote their numbers. Those numbers became known as fractions in Angleland. People today use them when they want to represent parts of things. Today, we call them fractions. I hope you enjoyed Cumference and the Fraction Faire.